Okay, Sagittarius, welcome to your December 2020 general tarot forecast. This is Sky here to give you a nice general reading for your month ahead. We have a lot to talk about for you guys for this oncoming month. So this is the very last month of your ruling planet, Jupiter, being in its debilitated sign of Capricorn. So I want to give you a round of applause, Sagittarius. I'm very pleased to tell you that things are about to look up towards the end of this month and getting into January. But as you guys know, when you go through a really tough transit like that, like you guys have over this last year, it has been a tough year for Sagittarius. The last few moments that you spend in that transit are usually very vital. So now you've got to let yourself in on the truth, Sagittarius. In the beginning of December, up to that third week, you've got to let yourself in. You've got to really get honest with yourself. You've got to really accept how far you've come, the momentum you've carried, and what you've chosen to contribute to all of this time. So no more blindsiding yourself, Sagittarius, moving into December of 2020. Just a little bit of hard work and perseverance and dedication to what you've come really far with will help you to transition over into this really bountiful energy, okay? And, you know, I don't want to get you guys' hopes up too much for December. For some Sagittarius, you're going to have really wonderful success. I think that some Sagittarius actually, even at the end of November of 2020, are already having that epiphany or knowing how to structure a business, knowing how to overcome a family issue, knowing how to overcome their issue with their health, whatever it is. A lot of you are already getting that. But if you're still feeling a blind spot, or if you're still feeling like you can't connect to what you need to do or how you need to move forward, beginning of December especially is going to really show it to you clearly, okay? Anything that's not right for you, anything that's not, you know, what you need to be putting your energy toward is going to get light shined on it in the beginning of December, which could be interpreted as difficult, but I think it's ultimately really positive because you guys want to really get clear on what you do and don't want in your life. Okay, and I think one of the main things I want to talk about just intuitively before we get into the week to week for Sagittarius is about two-mindedness, okay? So being of two minds, not being able to cohesively pull together what you want and what you're living. This to me feels to be the biggest crisis for Sagittarius. It almost feels like a coping mechanism where you have, I think you've, maybe to get through this year and to get through some of the setbacks, you've had to suspend disbelief, or you've had to, you know, almost pretend what things could be like or how you could make things bigger than they are in a almost compensatory effort. So definitely look at compensation. Definitely look at anything that feels like a compensation, because that will really help you to see the truth of where you're at. So having to think how things could be in the future, future tripping especially, how to get higher, how to do better in life, how to get on top of a situation, how to rise above, you know, other people's meanness or other people's malcontent toward you. Interestingly, Sagittarius is not usually a sign that attracts malice or attracts people with mean intent. Though I think if you have that in your life, it would be really clear right now, or if you've had it in the past as well. So definitely also with this two-mindedness that I'm talking about, look to the past with it as well. Are you maybe still playing somebody up from the past as a hero when in reality they were a really big villain, or vice versa? Are you seeing people for who they really were in your life? Are you looking at people with truth? Okay, Sagittarius is a sign, all the mutable signs, but especially Sagittarius and Pisces, can bend the truth a little bit. So this is really good when it comes to motivating yourself, okay? So being in a really bad existential crisis and thinking, okay, you know what, this is not the end of my story, I'm gonna use this as motivation. That's a good example of that. But when your planet of Jupiter is in its debilitated sign, this can start to go awry, okay? So you can start saying, okay, that person from my past, they were the only thing that got me through, when in reality, they were exactly what derailed you, okay? And it's really important to see those facts now, to not be playing up people who were bad influences, and also to not be putting down people who were good influences. You've got to get really clear and sober about who has played what role in your life to get this energy where you want it to be, okay? As I'm just looking at your spread, I love to see new energy coming your way with the sun and the moon coming in. Though I will say there's a big indecision. There's a big, again, issue, yeah, with how you're holding the reputation of some people in your life, how you're, boxing yourself in, how you're choosing to see events, okay? The perception of events, the perspective that you're carrying needs to be maybe revised a little bit in December to really prepare you for more optimism. So you might have felt punished for your optimism this year. You might have felt like your optimism had no place. It's going to have a place again, Sagittarius, but it's going to come through how you bridge this gap, how you move through this month, how you've learned to implement your optimism when it's right, when it needs to be more pragmatic. You know, that sort of rotating scale ability to know when to employ what mindset is something that you need to really take with you into the new year. Okay. I can't believe we're doing December readings. It feels so crazy. Like, how is it December of 2020? Like, I just said the new year. I'm like, okay, it's about time to do January of 2021 readings, and that feels so crazy. What is your perception of time right now, Sagittarius? You should comment below, like, how you feel about the way time is passing right now, because I think there's something for you to recognize within that as well. Otherwise, intuitively, I think that you have to cut your losses in some places too. 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. You've got to cut your losses. Something is not here for you anymore, and that needs to be okay. Because as you cut that loss, or as you vacate that space, the universe will fill it with something much more auspicious, I think. And I even think that as you're getting towards the latter part of December and Jupiter and Saturn move into Aquarius, which happens on the 20th of December and 21st, right at the solstice, it's incredible. I'm making a specific video about it, so be sure to keep that subscribe button hit and those bell notifications turned on. But for you, Sagittarius, just by creating something, you can actually cut your losses. That's usually how Sagittarius does it. It's really hard for Sagittarius to let go of anything, to get rid of anything, because it's such an optimistic sign that it thinks that everything has, potential. So for you, it might be through creating that new business that you finally cut the loss of your old one. Or for you, it might be through reaching out to a new person and dating that you finally move past that person that you just can't get out of your mind from the past. And that's chaotic to me. Like, it says to me that it requires some kind of external feature to get you through things, which is what this Jupiter in Capricorn has been trying to teach you. Like being the master of your own energy and choosing whether or not something has an effect over you instead of letting distraction or the presence of others do that. So that's important to look at too. And maybe this is a bit of a test. Like, will it take you getting into that next relationship or that next job or that next business to get you out of the last one? Does it take that, You're the sign of philosophy, Sagittarius. You're the sign of mindsets and motivations. So that's all fun and dandy when it's like fun and dandy, but when it's tough, can you get into that philosophy that allows you to not be hurt by things which you have no control over? You have maybe a little bit more toughness to go through than other signs when it comes to that, because other signs just can't quite get into these levels of thought and philosophy, so they just kind of move through life and it's like more physical and it's just thing after thing after thing, whereas you get these like vacant spots, or you get these times of nothingness where you just have to kind of piece things together and hold your own options, So that will be tested this month. How well can you do that? Okay, let's get into the week-to-week Sag. Last few weeks of Jupiter in Capricorn. Week number 1, 5 of Cups, rooted down by 8 of Cups. Something is over, okay? Something can no longer keep going on the way that it is, Sag. A 5 and an 8 together, especially with the Cups. Not very easy to try to force something to keep going. Very inauspicious to refuse yourself an exit, or to refuse yourself moving on or transmutation of some kind. Sagittarius has to make a change, I think, okay, in some way or another. This doesn't mean you have to go crazy. It doesn't mean you've got to move. It doesn't mean you've got to, exit your industry and go into another. But for some of you, things like that might be good. Moving, new industries, that's all coming up for you all. Absolutely. You don't want to get hasty with it. Again, there could be a test with Jupiter and Capricorn at the beginning of the month, but I would say by January or February, for every Sagittarius out there, there's some amount of you know, big turnover, big change, getting back to your essence, getting back to who you are, okay? Not who all these people need you to be, not who this company needs you to be, but who you are. You know, that's going to be really strong for Sagittarius. And that first week of December is like the pain that elicits that, okay? So for some of you, that could look like a breakup. For some of you, that could look like leaving somebody or somebody leaving you. That could look like having something fall apart a little bit. Accusations, even. Character accusations. There's something about embarrassment and humiliation, as Jupiter in Capricorn is a very kind of like embarrassing energy for some people, you know, especially when it comes to reputation or how you're seen by others. I would keep an eye on that, Sag. And I don't want to freak you guys out, but if anything comes up in the first week of December about who you are or about your character, that is just a sign that you're thinking too hard about things. I think it's a sign that you're having these things come into your being, into your physical experience, these thought forms, these fears, these paranoias, and they're not being released, okay? So it becomes manifest through holding on to them, and it's really overhead, regardless of what's happening to you in the first week. It's not bad for many Sagittarius. It's more so like, okay, can you let go of these worries? Can you let go of these tendencies, okay? Also with like attention deficit disorder, also with lack of focus, maybe playing a big role in sloppy assembly of things. That's a part of Jupiter in Capricorn, as well as sloppiness or not crossing the T's, not dotting the I's, things like that. That's a big thing with Jupiter in Capricorn. And Jupiter in Aquarius really optimizes us, so definitely it's incredible to start to work on how your focus, meditation. You guys need to meditate every week. All the first 3 weeks of December, you really need to be meditating and getting your mind into a focused, manifestation-oriented place so that it's not derailed, okay? Natural momentum comes through no matter what, though. So let's see. Second week, you guys have 4 of Pentacles rooted down by 2 of Pentacles. Not knowing how to spend your time, money, and energy. Indecisiveness with your expenditures. Indecisiveness with your focus. Okay, what do I focus on? What do I turn my focus to? I think a lot of you actually have maybe gained a lot of time or gained a lot of freedom. And through that, it's like, what do I spend that on? What do I point to? And some of you are just afraid to commit to something new. Some of you are just afraid of losing that time that you've gained. And I think that you guys can really make your money work for you or your time work for you. Okay. I think that there are way better ways for you to, you know, make more in life, to have more, especially through Jupiter and Aquarius. It's a very prosperous, windfall-oriented energy for Sag. So it's a beautiful time to be dreaming of that new business, okay? Beautiful time to be dreaming of that new career. Beautiful time to be dreaming of those new belongings or a new house or something that facilitates a more decisive, focused, and motivation-oriented Sag. And I would say it's like behind you at that point. It's kind of cool how you go from 8 of Cups to 2 of Pentacles. If you look at the imagery in the 2 of Pentacles, behind this person is the unsteady sea. So even though they're indecisive, they've come past the difficult point. So I would say by week 2 of December, you're home free. Okay, I like that. I really like that concept for you. First week of December, not quite. But if you guys can get into the second week of December, even though you might still be indecisive or unfocused or scattered still yet, you're past this difficult, debilitated time. Jupiter starts to transit to that cusp and it's kind of over, okay? Week 3, this is when officially Jupiter changes sign. So all this timeline's making sense. 5 of Swords rooted down by 10 of Cups. So I think that you guys are, again, a little bit, your mindset might not be willing to change over quick enough. You know, it's like, okay, I'm still going to be worried. I'm still going to be kind of on pins and needles about things. I'm still not really trusting what is a really good commitment in my life. Really watch out for a gained tendency to doubt good things or to not trust what is unquestionably good. There's a bit of a paranoia for Sagittarius lingering beneath right now, because I think that a lot of you were trusting so well at the beginning of this year, and you were really, maybe even over the last few years, always trusting and never fearing something bad happening. And then you kind of stepped into weird situations and you're like, now I just can never really let myself feel free, because whenever I feel that way, something bad kind of happens or something worrisome happens. So this is something we need to heal this month for sure, Sagittarius. And how can we do that? What's actually coming up to me is games. So making things into games for yourself. This is really cool with like the Aquarian energy coming on. When you have the sextile of Aquarius and Sagittarius, this is the energy of a game. This is the energy of a challenge, of a chessboard, of a of some kind of strategic fun. Like an RPG, basically. You guys are kind of going into your own RPG with this energy. Really interesting. And what that's going to actually give you is kind of this great executive capacity, like being able to lay out tasks for yourself as if you're like the main character of an RPG and you're checking them off, you know. Third week of December starts this. So for any of you who just like have found yourself like incapacitated, as Jupiter in Capricorn has that effect on Sagittarius, where you're like, oh my God, I just can't make this company. I just can't hold all of this. I don't know who to hire. I can't get like lawyers together. There's a lot of like things like that that's really hard for Sagittarius right now. Like when it comes to legal stuff, when it comes to accounting stuff, tax stuff, career stuff, HR stuff, anything relating to all that like Saturnian stuff, which is the antithesis of Sagittarius Jupiter energy. You've had to really focus on that this last year. Any of you who are business owners, Sagittariuses, have probably had to like go through a lot of like legal stuff and had to like really piece stuff together, and it's really like out of your territory. But it's not, is the thing. It's the penultimate Sagittarian energy. Sagittarius does rule law. So there is something about like law coming up for you, Sagittarius, and it's not worrisome to me, but we interact with the law more than we realize, you know, and I think that you guys might have like the perfect business idea, but you got to make sure that you're doing it right. You got to make sure that you're going through the right frameworks, that you're framing everything correctly. The framework is really important to look at right now, and make it a little bit of a game for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean like that there's, you know, less seriousness put into it. That doesn't mean it's just fun and games. What I'm saying is you've also almost got to reform how you think about tasks, or how you think about putting things together, how you think about optimizing your business or your marriage or your health or whatever. And it's got to maybe get a new task list or a new objective list or a new something that just gives you a capacity to finish it or not move on. So it's like either you finish the objectives of the level or you don't go to the next level. It's a good mindset for you guys right now during this transitional phase, okay? Because yeah, I think you're taking it a little bit too seriously also with 5 of Swords and 10 of Cups. It's like, okay, things have joined together. Things are okay the way that they are. Things are really getting trustworthy, but you're kind of like, I'm not sure. I think this is going to like really end up being a problem for me. I think that all of these good things are really going to come back and haunt me. And that's a mindset that we need to keep looking into in the future. Maybe we'll go into that a little bit in the extended. I will go into that in the extended for you guys over on Patreon. But moving on to the 4th week of December, the sun rooted down by the moon, reset Sagittarius. It's a complete reset for you in the 4th week of December. Whenever the sun and the moon come together, and I just love that this happened. It's so beautiful. Also with the sun and the star, anytime that those cards come together like that, it's a reset, a drastic renumeration, reformation of who you are, what you represent, and how you're moving through life. So knowing that that's coming on Sagittarius, it might kind of reshape the way that you're looking at the entire month of December. And I want to give you hope with that. I want you to feel hopeful about the 4th week, because that's hopeful. If you can manage these 3 weeks together, heal up some of these like focus issues, some of these paranoia issues, some of these indecisive issues, and also accept the ending of something or the change of something, the transmutation of something, you reset in the 4th week. And you now have a much more powerful, easy way of moving through life. So that's really beautiful to me, Sagittarius. More energy in the 4th week. Maybe a little bit of a tendency to look at things through rose-colored glasses, or a tendency to, see things in a certain way, but I don't think that it's bad right now, actually. I think that it almost takes that rose-colored glasses to make some of these things come together, though you can't let it overshadow your ability to know when something is not good or not working anymore or needs changing or ending when it comes to goals or tasks or anything like that. But with things that are unquestionably good, to look at them even a little bit more positively, I think is important right now to get your optimistic nature functioning again. So congratulations, Sagittarius. Get through this month with ease and elegance, I think. Elegant, kind of low, what am I trying to say? Laying low, being elegant, maybe even a bit of ambiguity right now is good. Not too crazy, not too over the top about any one thing. And then be prepared to come out on the other side of this at the calendar new year with some incredible, incredible tools, or incredible capabilities, incredible mindsets, maybe, incredible lessons. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, Sag. I'm going to put together an extended reading for you all on Patreon. Patreon has really been doing well, and I'm trying to contribute even more value over there. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, I'm going to link it in the center of the screen and in the description box below. You guys should definitely try out the service because you can cancel it anytime. It's totally month by month. So if you want to get this extended reading, as well as all the other extended readings, weekly tea chats, and early ad-free access to the readings, definitely sign up for the Patreon page. And anyway, let's jump over there now for your extended. I will talk to you all soon. Much love. Bye.